Good day. Now we start our fifth lecture on the history of medicine. Our theme for today is medicine of late Middle Ages. Late Middle Ages is from 15th until the 17th centuries. In the life of the Western Europe people, this time is called the Renaissance. Main characteristic of Renaissance, the revival of ancient culture, in science, experimental method of cognition priority, the rapid development of the exact science, inverted and perfected, measured and precious instrument, long distance travel and geographical discoveries have enriched medicine. Outstanding people of the Renaissance had a wide variety of interest and knowledge. Much attention is paid to the study of the human body and anatomy. The Renaissance gave many creators of anatomy. One of the great Italian artists is Leonardo da Vinci. So his paintings, the most famous, is Mona Lisa. Leonardo da Vinci produced an autopsy about 30 corpses. He made more than 200 sheets of anatomical drawings. Figure reflects not only the physical body, but also its function. He pointed out an error anatomist, Monde de Lucci. His notebooks. When he has been creating the anatomical drawings, were adhered a strict sequence. Tried to accurately reproduce human movements, and he has focused on understanding muscular system and skeletal structure. In comments to his notes was showed the function of peripheral nerves. He tried to imagine the special relationship of the nerve trunks and muscles. Leonardo da Vinci made a huge contribution to the development of anatomy, and the golden age of anatomy were opened by his anatomical works. And the founders of scientific anatomy addressed Vesalius. The newly built teaching anatomy lectures accompanied by a demonstration of autopsies. To conduct experiments on animals, pointed out an error of Galen, described heart valves. Address Vesalius. His main work is about the structure of the human body. In his work, he systemized, in systematic matter, investigates the skeleton, ligament, muscles, blood vessels, nerves, internal organs. The book has artistic drawings. Feature of drawings: the skeleton and muscle were depicted in motion. The doctors, anatomist, Fallopian, Eustace, Botha, Aristotane, Varroelli, Buchen, Azalea, Fabricius. In the Renaissance, in the knowledge of nature, played a big role experimental methods. Representatives of natural science have sought to check all the provisions empirically. In medicine, one of the first opponents, Galenism and scholasticism, was Paracelsus. The Paracelsus. He spoke of the close relationship with medicine chemistry for the treatment of extensive use of mineral substance, mercury, sulfur, antimony, He developed a new doctrine about the dosage of medicine, considers necessary for the doctors to work in the laboratory. He criticized the outdated doctrine of the four juices of the body. He condemned the misuse of bloodletting and cleansing of the body by laxatives. His work on great surgery. The development of physiology. William Harvey studied the embryonic formation of the heart and vascular system, experimentally confirmed specialization predecessors about pulmonary circulation, one of the first to carry out a comparison of clinical finding with further research of corpse. Marcello Malpighi. Using a microscope, he described the capillaries in the lungs and the blood capillary circulation, described erythrocyte and a layer of skin, gave a complete picture of the movement of blood in the body. Francis Bacon, eminent English materialistic philosopher, has played an important role in the promotion of the condition, the experimental method. French philosopher René Descartes did positive impact of the development of medicine in the 17th century. He opposed scholatism. He believed that nature should be studied based on the experience. He spoke about the need to develop over comparative anatomy. He attached great importance to prevention as the most progressive path in medicine. René Descartes, he professed an idea of the unity of the materialistic world. He autopsied corpses of people and animals. He engaged in philosophical studies, explaining the phenomena of life, the principles of mechanics. In Middle Ages, Europe has experienced a devastating epidemic of infectious disease. In Caesarea, completely died out from the plague. Naples, 60,000 people were died. Genoa, 40,000 people. Venice, 100,000 people. In the middle of the 14th century, in Europe, the plague has claimed more than a third of residents. Italian physician and philosopher Girolamo Fracastro began to study infectious disease in the 14th century. He summarized the information about infectious disease, expressed his opinion about nature and transmission of infections. He developed provision for the specific infectious beginning, contagia. Written work about contagious disease and their treatment. Francisca believed that the infectious particles of contagia, there are three types. Some affect only in contact with the sick person. Others leave health and through it are contagious. And third, affect at a distance. The surgical tools, also used in barber. The regiment barber assist wounded. So, as you see, the barber and the surgeon were the same at that time. In the middle of the 16th century, surgery has been recognized as a university discipline. Formation of surgery is a science and a subject of teaching. The conversation of artisans in surgery, medical specialists, developed professional medicine or occupational medicine. Bernardino Romani, the work about the disease of artisans. He studied the social aspect of occupational disease. Moscow, the Moscow Kremlin. So it is the medicine of Russia. Written sources of information. Demostroy, the rules and regulations of household hygiene, resolution 100 chapters of the cathedral about the concept of sick and cryptal, medical collection of Vertogradov, Travinsky, and Zelnik, practical advice of traditional medicine. Medicine in Moscow were divided, the profession of medicine. There were shops for sale of herbs. There was a widespread nursery. At the churches were organized shelters for crippled and who seriously ill. Creating a monastery hospitals. Developed main provision of monastery hospitals. There were widespread epidemics of infectious disease. The control measures, separation of sick from healthy, burning the affected houses and districts, establishing checkpoints, and burial of the dead away from the housing. Creating and temporary military hospitals. State organization of medical affairs at the Moscow state, establishment of the chamber of apothecary at the end of the 16th century, creating apothecary order in the 17th century. So this is how looked apothecary order. In the early years, it was located on the territory of the Moscow Kremlin in the stone building opposite to the Chudov monastery. Functions of the apothecary order: collection and sterilization of medical plants, purchase of medicine in other countries, control over the practice of medicine, invitation of foreign doctors, appointment of doctors in regiments, included medical library, translation of ancient medical writing of Hippocrates, Aristotle, and others. The organization of civilian hospitals in the 17th century, development of charity. Boyarin Fyodor Artislavovich organized civil hospital on their savings. Artishev made an offer. Invited foreign doctors were taught Russian doctors. Physicians are trained abroad. Yuri Dorokhovich, Georgy Skarina, Ivan Almazovich, and Petr Postnikov. George Skarina. Medical education got in Krakow. In 1517, he translated into Russian Psalter, in which the Moscow state learner to read, and to write. In 1653, opened the Bonestone School of Streletsky Department. In 54, opened the treatment school at the apothecary order. Also in 55, opening school of Bonester affairs at the pharmaceutical order. From 16th to 17th centuries in Russia were a time of formation of pharmaceutical and pharmacy, and the creation of hospitals in the cities began training doctors from the Russians, the birth of the state organization of medical affairs. So that is all for the 5th century lecture. See you on next lecture. Goodbye.